Good afternoon. This is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios along Keraba Avenue. Our headlines this afternoon: a recently conducted pre-election opinion poll has revealed that President Barrow's NPP is currently leading ahead of the December 4th presidential elections. A delegation of ECOWAS Parliament's fact-finding mission to the Gambia, led by its speaker, on Thursday met with President Barrow at the State House for discussions. The Inter-Party Committee over the weekend organized its quarterly breakfast meeting, which brought together political party leaders to develop a common understanding on the IEC's Code on the Election Campaign Ethics. In international news, a high-ranking former Malawian MP, Clement Chiwaya, shot himself dead in an office in Parliament. Well, for more on these and other stories coming up, I am Answane Sonyasi. And now we take a look at the news in detail. A pre-election opinion poll recently conducted by the Center for Policy Research and Strategic Studies has revealed that President Barrow's National People's Party is currently leading ahead of the December 4th presidential elections. More in this report. Conducted in August, this survey covered data on political and development issues and what the electorate thinks about elections and electoral reforms, voting, peaceful elections, and the impact of COVID-19 on the upcoming presidential elections. Having covered over 900 respondents in 34 districts across all regions in the country, the CEPRA survey revealed that 89% of the respondents are of the view that the recent voter registration exercise was conducted fairly and expressed confidence in the process. The opinion poll results also revealed that about 40% of the registered voters are undecided as to who they will vote for in December's presidential election. However, the incumbent's party, the NPP, leads the polls on intention to vote among the 60% of decided voters, followed by UDP, APRC and GDC. NPP head the poll with 29%, the UDP on 13%, with GMC ranked lowest in the poll with less than 1% of respondents listing them as a preferred choice according to the survey. At the dissemination of the maiden opinion poll results event on Friday, Lamin Damfa, Executive Secretary of the Center for Policy Research and Strategic Studies, says the research was conducted to gauge public perception on issues of national interest and thanked researchers and enumerators for their professionalism.
In the Gambia, politicians measure public opinion by gauging applause or crowd counts, or through individual contact or citizen. However, with this opinion poll survey, it can be used to construct a picture of public opinion on issues over time at different intervals, which produces a bandwagon effect.
John Charles Njai, chairman of Tango, and Tabu Njai Sar, women's rights coordinator at Action Aid the Gambia, says conducting such surveys shows our democracy is growing. The Tango chairman enjoined CEPRA's officials to remain steadfast. Research, he adds, is important. However, he cautioned against allowing partisan interests to affect their work.
Please do not have partisan interest in doing your work. Be neutral when it comes to support. Be neutral. You may have your individual likings for candidates and parties, but let it not affect your work. Be professional to the core. Because you see, with this, I can tell you, you are going to be attacked, you are going to be maligned, you are going to be called partisan. But what I have learned in this little nation of ours is that if everybody tells you you are supporting one party or the other, then you are doing the right thing.
No such an initiative has ever been shared with. And that being the case, we go by our traditional voting system and we follow sentiments. We vote not basing it on facts, but we vote basing it on religion, basing it on geographical area, basing it on ethnicity, basing it on soft arguments, such opinions rather than facts.
Another interesting fact revealed by the survey is that the second most important agenda for the electorate is the introduction of term limits, with 43% of respondents supporting term limits. This is the first dispatch of 2 pre-election opinion poll surveys to be conducted, with a third expected to be held after the December 4th elections. Answana Isonyasi for QTV News. A delegation of ECOWAS Parliament's fact-finding mission to the Gambia, led by its speaker, on Thursday met with President Barrow at the State House for discussions. The meeting with the President followed meetings with other stakeholders, and the delegation expressed satisfaction with Gambia's state of preparedness for the December presidential elections. Mahmoud Lamin Choi tells us more.
The ECOWAS Parliament delegation is here on a fact-finding mission on the electoral process and the Gambia state of preparedness, 2 months away from the December presidential elections. After visiting the Independent Electoral Commission, the Chief Justice, the National Assembly Speaker, and civil society organizations, the delegation met the President. The Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, updates the press on the outcome of the delegation's meeting with President Adama Barrow.
And so far, we are very, very satisfied. The last meeting that we have had is that of His Excellency the President. The President has assured me that under his leadership, he will ensure that there will be free and fair elections come 4th December 2021. He has also assured me that whatever the outcome of the result is, he will accept it.
The purpose of this mission is to ensure a free and fair electoral process for the December presidential polls. The information gathered during this fact-finding mission will determine the West African regional body's level of assistance to the Gambia's upcoming presidential elections.
ECOWAS has already started our support. Financial support, we are giving. We are also giving technical support. We have our election experts from the ECOWAS Commission. They have been here already, and they have been giving support to the Independent Electoral Commission. Financially, ECOWAS has also provided at least $500,000 to support the process. So generally, ECOWAS is a very, very important partner with the people of Gambia.
The Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament concludes his press briefing with an appeal to all Gambians.
So my appeal to the Gambian people is to learn from what has happened in other countries. Gambia is a very small country, but very, 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 very industrious. Let us maintain the peace that we have here. Let us don't allow people, especially us, the politicians, to lead you into chaos.
This year's Gambia's presidential election is in the international limelight, who are taking proactive measures like the ECOWAS Parliament's fact-finding mission for a successful, peaceful, free and fair elections in the Gambia. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Inter-Party Committee over the weekend organized its quarterly breakfast meeting, which brought together political party leaders to develop a common understanding on adhering to the IEC's Code on Election Campaign Ethics. More in this report.
The Inter-Party Committee, IPC, was established by political parties as a forum for dialogue and cooperation to promote adherence to Electoral Commission's MOU and Code of Conduct, national reconciliation, and to build consensus among political parties on contested political and electoral issues. At these quarterly breakfast meetings held in Janjanbureh, CRR, on Saturday, the UNDP country representative says
peaceful elections are outcomes that are dependent on the behavior and character of political parties and leaders before, during, and after the elections. It is therefore incumbent among the political parties in the Gambia under the auspices of the IPC to continue working together with the strengthen democracy and sustain peace within the framework of electoral processes.
Joseph Colley, the IEC Vice Chairman, expressed gratitude and acknowledged the important role IPC is playing to maintain peace in the country.
Each and every political party has an obligation to contribute meaningfully towards the achievement of the peace and development of this country. Reaffirming that registered political parties in the Gambia, through their leaders, have subscribed to the Inter-Party Committee's Memorandum of Understanding and Code of Conduct to promote peaceful political dialogues, credible electoral process, and foster national unity, and understand the imperatives for its leaders, officials, and supporters to adhere to the terms of the MOU as well as the IEC's Code on Election Campaign Ethics.
At the event, political leaders again committed to peaceful elections and dialogue during the campaign period by signing the Janjanbureh Peace Accord, which is geared towards the maintenance and promotion of peace before, during, and after the electoral cycle. Lami Diba, party leader, National Convention Party, says peace is priceless and there is no country that can develop without peace. Dr. Ibrahim Jan, party leader, All People's Party, urged the media to promote and speak out about the Janjanbureh Peace Accord.
Make sure your media houses, your staff are aware of this document and emphasize the importance of it.
Musa Bachile, party leader, urged Gambians to change their attitude.
We are the problems. We Gambians, we are the problem. We need to change our attitude. If the attitude change, peace will reign. Just saying peace, peace, if the attitude is not changed, we ain't going nowhere. Let's not sugarcoat issues. Our problem is ourselves.
Dr. Ismail Shise, party leader, Citizen Alliance, also urged all political parties to have their own code of conduct.
The party leaders are committed to ensuring a peaceful election, but the problem is the grassroots. So therefore, I would suggest that political parties also develop their own internal codes of conduct that can be internalized with the party militants so they know that such codes of conduct exist.
For QTV News, I am Ibrahim F.Y. Jallo.
Interesting report there, and we will now take a short commercial break, but still to come is some more local and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. We reminded you're following QTV Midday News, and I am Ansman Esonyase. Now, the people of Darussalam Kher Sidiki in the Opanyomi district recently embarked on a road maintenance exercise to create easy access to their community after the road was damaged by recent heavy downpours. Umudugajaga reports.
These villagers came together to fix the only access road to Darussalam Kher Sidiki, the road that leads to their village, which is just 5 kilometers from the main Bara Kerewan highway, is covered with gravel and is in deplorable state. Stones and sandbags are laid on the road to fill the holes caused by erosion and block the water passages to prevent further damaging the road. Alaji Seka, a teacher from Kabakoto Lower Basic School, is a frequent user of the road.
If we can have help, really, it's going to be, we will very appreciate it. Make the facilitation, the movements going and coming very easy. You see, people are engaged on making certain places or doing certain work.
Among those working here today is Kemoko Sankare from Ker Alaji Yero, a neighboring village. He expresses his frustration at the bad state of the road.
mal dal na silo la na silo doko la sama sama de mal ka dogo nga botol le fandi ka landi silo ka euro saba ka landi silo ka jo fele fen be jo fana konote dinol be karano fana.
Every year, we do this repair work on our road. We fill bags with sand to lay them on the road. School children use this road to go to school. Pregnant women too use this road to get to the nearest health facility. So we are calling for help from the authorities. There are about 14 neighboring villages who all use this road for their daily activities. When it rains, access through this road is almost impossible, especially by car. Motorbikes becomes the only means of transport due to the flooding on the road. Umudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, 250 army personnel will be traveling to Turkey for further military training as part of preparations for deployment as a quick reaction force to UN missions. At a ceremony on Friday at the Army Training School in Fajara, the Minister of Defense and the CDS bade farewell to the soldiers. Babakar C tells us more.
After 3 months of basic Turkish language course, these soldiers, members of the Quick Reaction Force 2, are going for 3 months intensive training in Turkey. Currently, Quick Reaction Force 1 is being trained by the British Marines. Amadou Bojang, the QRF2 contingent commander, said the training is necessary and thanked the Gulf High Command for this rare opportunity.
Military, as one of the elements of national power, is used by the state to measure its relative strength in the international community. One of ways to do that is training. The contingent is one of the contingents being selected to train in Turkey. We have gathered here some time ago and we have undergone the Turkish language course. 250 went through this rigorous training and it was successfully conducted. Currently, men and women seated before you here have basic idea and knowledge on the Turkish language.
Lieutenant General Yakuba Edrame, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, challenged the soldiers to make good use of the opportunity to equip themselves and be ready for deployment.
And equally, we want to thank the Turkish government and the Turkish people because they're using taxpayers' money to take care of you, to airlift you from Gambia to another country with all arrangements put in place, waive visa fees, you'll be fed, you'll be clothed. Not only that, make your stay comfortable. Like my father always tells me, and I believe it's true for you also, wherever you are, you have the determining role to play. If you suffer, it's because of yourself. But if you are amiable, openness to people, you'll have a very pleasant stay in Turkey. And I can assure you, Turkish people are good people. Over the years, I want to say we've had a very sustained relationship with the Turkish Armed Forces. And I want to thank my counterpart without hesitation. When this issue was discussed, he said to me, give me 2 weeks maximum. Barely 1 week, I received information to say, you'll be leaving in October. That was quite commendable.
Sheikh Omar Faye, the Minister of Defense, congratulated the contingent, adding that the training is in preparation for upcoming UN missions.
I wish to thank the Almighty Allah for witnessing yet another August day in the ongoing efforts of our reform programs. May I take this opportunity to convey best wishes from His Excellency, the President of the Republic, and all Gambians. And you must inculcate now a sense of discipline and commitment to your assigned duties. So what I heard from your commanders, it looks like I'm not going to be worried with that because we were promised that this is a team that will be exemplary, so we don't foresee those things. Yes, it is true, Hadama Dingom and Timba, but we will do everything possible to make sure that we keep together and keep to the standard that the Gambia is known for around the world.
The training is fulfillment of a promise by the Turkish government to train 500 GAF personnel in Turkey to equip them with the requisite peace operation skills prior to deployment on UN peace operation missions. These men and women will depart Banjul International Airport in the early hours of Sunday. Babakar C, QTV News.
And from the report, we'll take a look at international news in a moment. Now, a high-ranking former Malawian MP, Clement Chiwaya, shot himself dead in an office in Parliament. Mr. Chiwaya, who was a wheelchair user having contracted polio at the age of 2, served as Deputy Speaker of Malawi's Parliament between 2014 and 2019. Jawa reports.
Clement Chiwaya, a seasoned politician, shot himself dead in Parliament following frustrations over a dispute he had with parliamentary officials over the ownership of a specially adapted vehicle he bought from the Malawi Parliament at the end of his 5-year term in 2019. Clement Chiwaya is reported to have gone to the House of Parliament on Thursday to discuss vehicle benefits and entitlements after he left office 2 years ago. However, it appears the talks were not fruitful. In a note that he wrote shortly before shooting himself, Honorable Chiwaya referenced the dispute over the specially adapted vehicle. In his note, he said he was tired of begging for what belonged to him, and that he was taking his own life for fear of hurting others. According to news reports, after stepping down as Deputy Speaker, Mr. Chiwaya began a process to allow him to buy the car provided by Parliament that enabled him to drive despite his disability. According to an AFP news report, the ex-MP had paid for the vehicle but accused Parliament of failing to transfer ownership to him. After the MP's death, the Malawi Parliament released a statement saying that the matter was still in court. Reports said Mr. Chiwaya entered the office of the Clerk of Parliament on Thursday and shot himself in the presence of the clerk. The statement also said Parliament regrets to inform the public that the former Deputy Speaker committed suicide at the Parliament building. Honorable Chiwaya was involved in an accident while using his purchased vehicle. Unfortunately, the comprehensive insurance had expired at the time of the incident, the statement added. It did not clarify how this related to the suicide. Police are now investigating Mr. Chiwaya's movement and how he managed to gain entry to the Parliament with a loaded pistol, given the heavy security at the entrance. Some newspapers are reporting that although the metal detector at Parliament was triggered, the guards assume this was caused by the wheelchair. Mr. Chiwaya, born in 1971, was a disability rights activist and successfully ran as a member of Parliament for 3 times in Malawi. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
Some quite tragic news there, and I'm afraid it is all the time permits. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. A recently conducted pre-election opinion poll has revealed that President Barrow's NPP is currently leading ahead of the December 4th presidential elections. A delegation of ECOWAS Parliament's fact-finding mission to the Gambia, led by its speaker, on Thursday met with President Barrow at the State House for discussions. The Inter-Party Committee over the weekend organized its quarterly breakfast meeting, which brought together political party leaders to develop a common understanding on the IEC's Code on Election Campaign Ethics. In international news, a high-ranking former Malawian MP, Clement Chiwaya, shot himself dead in an office in Parliament. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of the news. Do join us in the evening for more news. Until then, thanks for watching.